Thanks everyone for joining me tonight. I'm fortunate enough to be with Renee Cooper, Director of Media Relations for MomoCon. MomoCon's a all-age geek weekend, and I'm a bit of a geek, that covers anime, mangas, gaming, and cosplay. And I think if I remember right, Renee, were you doing cosplay also? Were you involved in that as well at some point?
Yeah, I do that kind of like on a volunteer or case by case basis. I did it more for Dragon Con,
Ah,
and I
okay.
have done it for Momo. However, I have a lot of now that I'm involved more with both cons, it's harder to find time to cosplay as well. But
Sure.
yeah, I love to do that on occasion.
Great. So MomoCon this year is going to be May, was it May
It's
24th starts?
mhm,
Cool.
Thursday, May 24th through Sunday, May 27th.
And there's quite a few people that join up. It's like, what, over 30,000 attendees or 84,000 attendees actually?
Yeah, so last year we clocked in about 33,000 attendees, and that's throughout the entire weekend. Memberships sold, plus about 84,000 turnstile, which means feet on the ground throughout the entire weekend. So people who are returning. This year we definitely are sure to surpass that. I actually didn't look at the exact numbers right now, but I knew that just a couple months ago we had already had such an increase. I think it was like 75% increase in new membership sales. So people who had never even been to MomoCon before were
Right.
definitely making sure they had their membership early.
Okay.
And still have ticket sales or membership sales through May 9th for
Okay.
$60 for the whole weekend. Then they go up to
Wow.
75 once, to get them day of. But we also have single day passes that are
Sure.
like between 30 40.
And they can find that at momocon.com, MOMOcon.com.
Yep,
So,
MOMOCON.com.
cool. So, from what I see, I was at last year. I went to the Anime Week in Atlanta. Not a big convention, but it's trying to get there. And that was at Cobb Galleria. And your convention takes place at in Atlanta, right?
hmm
Um,
We are downtown. We are at the Georgia World Congress Center. That's the main space that the exhibitor hall, the panels, and the guests and the events will be at, as well as the Omni Hotel, which is the main host hotel. And we have events that happen there as well. It's very close to CNN Center, the World of Coke, the Aquarium, and Centennial Park. We actually have an event at the Aquarium Saturday that's a ticketed event, but there will be tons of cosplayers there who will be, photographers who will basically bring out their aquatic and their really cool cosplay to be kind of seen and mingle with other convention guests.
all right. So, last year, I wish I was there. I tried to get my three kids to come with me. They were all ages, so
Uh-huh.
like 14, 20, and 22.
Okay.
But things that wasn't jiving with us to be able to make it all together. But this is a big family event too, right? I mean, it's not just single people, individuals.
Right. That age range is right within the realm that MomoCon likes to um, really pay attention to and knows it's kind of like the median range, and they bring in aspects of fandom that appeal to all ages. So your 14-year-old maybe, or someone may be into gaming. So they have an
Right.
entirely huge, like about 150,000 square feet of gaming floor. So
Wow.
if they're into Overwatch, Fortnite, Twitch streaming,
Okay.
or if they like to, a lot of, our generation love
Hmm.
tabletop games and card games and board games. They have an aspect for that as well. That's included in that huge space for the gaming tournaments and just free play gaming.
Now
Um,
you're partnering this year with DreamHack, I think, or was that for an outside event?
um, we do have a lot of professionals and industry pros that do kind of partner with us to not only bring, including them, if not this year, then in previous years, to bring like gaming aspect to help with tournaments. We
Okay.
also have a career fair that a lot of professionals like to be part of, so that they can kind of show what the industry is like, how to get into the industry. So yeah, we do have a lot
Okay.
of partners like that. DreamHack has been one. We also have Funimation and Cartoon Network. different professionals,
Sure.
industry leaders like that.
Crunchyroll, I'm assuming easy. Are they going to be there as well?
Oh yeah, they're always have a presence because anime is where MomoCon had started.
Right.
Anime Oteku, which was on Georgia Tech campus, used to be a free con,
Right.
and of course, every year that we've had memberships, it's grown exponentially. So they've been able to bring in more guests, make
Mhm.
more of these partnerships, and expand their gaming hall and their tournament allowances, as well as get coverage for programming that do talk about animation, local, American animation,
Mhm.
as well as comic books. We have actually a
Oh,
really big
okay.
comic industry scene there um, for the last few years that
Mhm.
highlight local artists that are very nationally known, like Marcus Williams or Afua Richardson, and also bring in a lot of other people who, again, aren't from Atlanta,
Mhm.
but are great professionals to kind of like learn the trade and to show off their art, and even to the point of Artist Alley, which brings in people who are just starting to
Right.
get their art out there. So it kind of spans an entire um, many areas of fandom, and a lot of different ages are always looking into. There's something to do for every age.
I would think. I'm a graphic designer. I'm a creative director for a group of newspapers. Plus, I do social media marketing. And for me to, my kids are sort of a little grown up, a little bit more grown up, but even my 20-something-year-olds, they're looking at Death Note, the animes they introduced me to, Aja and a few others like that. I've
Cool. I just
become,
said,
yeah, been binging on animes between Netflix, Hulu, and Crunchyroll. So, and they all love that because they all get a chance to do the same thing. So, they're
right,
introducing me
right.
to that stuff, and
Mhm.
it's a great family. I think a great family affair. And if you're passionate, from what I could tell from what you're saying, there'll be panelists there. So if you're an artist, if you're into art, digital art, or video, or like my 14-year-old, his 15-year-old, he's gaming, and he's recording
Mhm.
his games. He's doing 3-minute videos. He has his own little YouTube channel. He
That's
puts
awesome.
music to it. Yeah. So, I mean, it sounds like this would be a great place for him to be able to find out more of that stuff too, and to be creative
Yeah.
people that way. Huh?
And what's so exciting this year is that they have a huge list of YouTube celebrities and Twitch streamers who will be there on site. I know Caleb Hayes is one that I know very well. He's a musician,
Uh huh.
but they also have again like Twitch streamers, people who are playing games online basically for a living and for audiences.
Wow. Okay.
And they will have panels as well as they'll have panels and then also meet and greets for a lot of them too. So if there's, and again, that list is on momocon.com's website. You
Right.
can check the guests and you can actually arrange it by the different fandoms and different categories. So
Okay.
you can see a whole list of those influencers who will be there, which are probably ones that he's watched and gotten,
I think so.
some pointers online.
I
So
think I can convince him this year that MomoCon is the place to be if I can find one or two of his buddies on there that
yeah,
he
share
likes
the
to
list with
follow.
and let them know that there will be, and the program schedule is live now too. So what they will do
Okay.
is allow people to they again they'll have those professional branding panels where people will show like how to brand your YouTube channel, how to get
Okay.
your art out there. So he may be interested in checking some of those out and to be on site and have that access all weekend.
Yeah.
Again, it's a really amazing experience for someone who's up and coming in that industry.
Yeah, there's a lot of kids now that are doing Photoshop and Illustrator and video and using Audition and Adobe Premiere. I mean, it's just
Right.
phenomenal the stuff they're doing out there, right? So,
Like playing and professional at the same time. They can go
correct.
there to play around and to dress up and to do workshops and see really cool people. But also they could teens and people in the community, college bound people
Mhm.
in the creative industry, they can walk away with some actual knowledge and some networking from the panels and again from that career fair that they have on Thursday.
Yeah, and I think that's a great part of it. I think for those kids that are really interested and passionate, that would be to get them there to be able to be exposed to that because it's hard to be exposed to that in any other place, I think. Where would they get
Right.
that type of internship or exposure um, to be able to see people that do this and ask them questions and maybe build those relationships?
Right.
Um, but it's not just anime. I mean, anime is cool. Manga. I mean, obviously, there's tremendous publication realm out there.
Yes.
You also screen some of the animes and movies as well.
Yeah, they have movie screenings. They have just overall anime screenings where they'll show a couple of episodes of some of the most popular or more well known
Okay.
that have come out recently. They have AMV screenings and competitions where people can
Ah,
anime music videos where people like splice together these amazing collaborations of
yes.
music and anime that you would never think fit, but people
Yes.
find a way.
AMV,
Um,
AMVs. Yes, I've been watching some of those. It's
they're
interesting.
amazing. Some people's are amazing, and they do it with
Yes.
games, they do it with cartoons, they do it with anime.
Right.
And then what I'm really excited is there is a showing for season 2 of Fooly Cooly, and I don't know if
Oh,
uh,
yes.
Fooly Cooly is one of those interesting, I'll say
I've
a
been
teen
watching
rated
that. Yeah.
anime, but
Yeah.
it was one that was very different than when I was growing up with the Sailor Moons and the it wasn't the it it was very mind blowing, way more sci-fi, and
Yes. Yes.
made you think about a lot of things. And there's a season 2 coming out, and they're actually doing a screening of season 2 at MomoCon
Oh, wow.
with Toonami. So it's really exciting, and they have a couple of the voices from the show who from the English
Right.
um, voice actors from the show. They're going to be there, and it just to me it like that was one of the biggest best announcements that I could hear, because knowing that Atlanta is such a great base for Cartoon Network and a lot of these
Yes.
aspects, and Toonami was responsible for showing many people anime for the first time, making it
Yeah.
accessible to a lot
Yeah.
of us, and we live in that city of Cartoon Network. So I just love the partnership that they've formed with that, and the ability to have that exclusive screening while we're there. So that's going to be super exciting.
Now, and okay, so you have that going on, but you also, from what I understand, you have concerts going on. So who's the what's the top tier? What are
So
we
it
listening to?
depends on what you're interested in, because they have rock concerts like Fit Brigade. They have the Rave, which is again all ages dance.
Uh-huh.
Um, they have DJs from that, and that goes like late night Saturday. They have a YouTube concert with a couple of the YouTube stars who are going to be performing live on stage. But some of the most exciting is the orchestrated concerts they have, Open World and
Hmm.
can't remember the name of the other one. There's two concerts that'll be through that weekend,
Okay.
and they will play orchestrated music of video game favorites. So Legend of
Oh, wow.
Zelda, Resident Evil, just to name like a couple of the ones that have great music 8-bit wise, but imagine hearing it live performed by a symphony. And
And
those will
what
be
is that Friday night or when all those?
it will be Fridays. Friday I know is the YouTube concert.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure there's Saturday and Sunday, possibly late night or afternoon. There are also ticketed events outside of the membership, the 4-day membership, but you
Hmm.
can purchase tickets for that on MomoCon's website.
Okay.
So it's kind of like an external event, but it's still on site. And
Right.
I don't even think you have to have your badge, but don't quote me. You just have to have a ticket to the
To the
actual concert.
concert. Okay.
Hmm.
The and what I've noticed, so I've liked the Facebook page, and I've been
Hmm.
following on Instagram, so that's kind of cool too.
Yes.
But right, but Facebook, there's quite a few events going on. I mean, there's so many different events going on. Even I think prior to that weekend, you guys have ongoing events through the year. It looks like,
Yeah.
yeah.
Throughout the
So
whole year, it's called MomoCon on tour, and they plan photo shoots. They do gaming tournaments, and video game and kind of like board game tournament meetups throughout the
okay,
year. They we've worked with we have a strategic partnership with Dragon Con, so every so often they'll do volunteer events or help with some of the charities around Atlanta as well. So there's
okay,
a ton of opportunities to be involved in a MomoCon event, which highlights again like fandom and creativity just around the city, around Georgia, even like beyond. Sometimes they even go to like Douglasville or Marietta. So
oh, that's a
yeah,
great way
they.
to promote the con too. Actually, right?
And what you mentioned about the Facebook pages, I love that aspect that they took on doing that. It's a lot of hard work. I always applaud the programming team when I see them, because they
Yeah.
do create an event for every panel, and that's 400
Yes.
plus hours of gaming of just programming in general.
Uh-huh.
And so they create those, and it really helps to build interest in the individual panels as well as the overall convention. Because if I see that there's a panel happening about branding your cosplay, I can say that I'm going or interested, and then my friends also see that it's going, and they can see who's involved and support that particular panelist or professional. And it's just kind of like
Yeah.
always triggering more interest in these panels that are happening.
Oh, for sure. I'm just looking stuff at cosplay tips and tricks, the
Mm,
modern world of Japanese music.
yeah,
Come see Pretty Guardian Sailor Moon the musical with MomoCon.
yeah.
So there's quite a few. I mean, if you're
But yeah, they do
interested,
movie screenings pretty often. Anytime there's like a Miyazaki, something, usually it was something that comes to the theater, and there's like select theaters that will have them. They'll be able to host a specific event, and their Pretty Guardian Sailor Moon musical event was awesome because they had actual cosplayers out there.
yeah,
I went to one where they were just showing the movie, but they also had again some Miyazaki films that they were showing at the theater. The one
right.
in downtown Atlanta, it's like the indie theater that's there, but they've done other
Mhm.
theaters as well. So just great connections that they've made in order to keep people's fandom and
Mhm.
excitement and create experiences all year round.
And you even have brands, it looks like. So MomoCon 2018, Arby's, social media, meet the artists.
Yes. I don't know if
That's
you
the,
follow them on Twitter, but or on their Facebook page, but they are always posting. Their team got onto posting very nerd, very anime related
uh-huh.
advertisements and photos, and they use like cardboard and paper art to create all these things because Arby's is the paper
Right, right.
for their um, you know the food carriers, things like that.
Hmm.
And they've created things that talk about My Hero Academia, or they reference Sailor Moon or Dragon Ball Z.
Right.
Super obscure ones too. Like I can't think of one right now, but
Because they're
you know,
obscure.
they're so like trying to deep down think about ones that they've done. But I thought My Hero Academia, while popular, is very much niche to anime fans.
Yeah,
So
it is. Yeah.
they covered that, and they just create these artistic, setups,
Yeah,
and then
yeah.
they put some sort of fun quote that involved food and that, and that's just been kind of like their marketing for about a year or so, and it's just brilliant. And so we were able to get that people from their marketing team, which again is it just shows that having this geek being geeky doesn't equal a bad thing. Like you can turn
Right.
that into a full career or make something stand out in your industry, no matter what it is, even if it's
No,
marketing food.
yeah.
So that's just a great group of professionals to have on site to, kind of pick their brain.
You got to believe that a lot of these people into the games and stuff and role playing and things like that, they're always going out to eat fast food anyway.
Yeah,
Order it in or something. Uber
Arby's is
Eats.
fitting. I love Arby's too, so I'm just kind of like,
Yeah,
yeah, I'll give you
yeah,
my money, and you
yeah,
support geek stuff. Yeah, I'm cool,
yeah,
and I get to be fed with some really good food.
yeah,
Well,
yeah.
good,
Well,
delicious. I don't know about good fast food.
absolutely. And there's all sorts of. I could go down this list. It's just unbelievable. Are you smarter than a Jedi? The My Hero Academia murder mystery.
Oh,
So this Dance
there's
Dance Revolution
programming.
tournament. I mean, there's a bunch of stuff on here that I think anyone would be interested in.
Yeah, definitely. Like I said, they try to cover. I like that MomoCon has every year been able to capture multiple guests from a single show or
Hmm.
fandom. Last year it was Steven Universe and
Right.
Overwatch. This year we have more Overwatch voice actor guests, different than last year even. So we have like Farah, May, Junkrat. They have the Dragon Ball Z English voices,
So that.
Vegeta, Flo, Majin Buu, and Goku.
Yeah.
And they also have one of my favorites, which is Voltron, Alora, Hero, and Pidge, who's like a fan favorite. So, they try to capture as many as they can
Hmm.
for that. So it makes a great experience for anyone involved. And it creates great panels because people will be consistently, they can banter between each other. And
Right.
you have all these guests in one place for this one show.
So now we have a lot of English voiceover actors. When I was last year, I interviewed a few of them at the other convention. But there's also Asian voice actors that are coming over. No, didn't you have some? There
There
is,
are,
right?
which one did you hear? Because you're going to
Uh,
put me on the spot with the name, I'm pretty
no,
sure.
no, no. I don't need to know names. But what I was going to say is just a style thing. There
Mhm.
are so, for example, I'll go back to my son, but he's the one that introduced me to these things. Uh, both of them actually. But so they're into it has to be Japanese, has to be
Mhm.
in the language. It can't be dubbed. So they want subtitles.
Okay,
Uh,
okay.
So that's the way they want to hear it, and I don't blame them. It's like watching an Italian movie. I'm Italian by heritage. I don't want to
Right.
say English dub because you really don't get the sense of what they're saying sometimes.
Right. Yeah.
Although I've heard English dub, so I don't want to take away from the English voiceovers. Also, they do a really good job as well. But there's something to be said about hearing it in the native language a little bit. So between that and also the fact that some of them would rather read the manga than actually see the anime because they think the manga is way better
Right.
than the anime. So there's a bit of that snobbery, if you will, even in the
And it's
geekdom.
like reading any book and then watching a movie, and they try to constrict all this
Right.
data and all this story into, 2 to 3 hours, or even an anime.
Mm.
The manga's been going for years and years, but you
Right.
have only so many episodes to kind of get a story across. And me personally, I kind of flip flop between both. I think that a lot of the voice actors that, especially that we've had, the English voice actors that we've had visit, um, are popular because they're so good at one, acting in general,
Mm.
being the voice and bringing a character to life when it needs to be translated into the American realm. J. Michael Tatum is, I was able to kind of help moderate a panel for him last year. He does very like, he does a Black Butler voice,
Oh,
Sebastian. So he's very like, oh, Papa,
cool.
and blah, blah. And just very thespian by trade. So, they're going in this probably of hearing some of the early
Mm.
1990s not so great dubs, or like you're saying when you watch
Yeah.
Italian films, the dubs are just like, so a lot of the ones I have now are are trained and are popular because they have been able to translate them over so well. But I definitely understand that, yeah, there's always going to be certain things. Sometimes I just don't have time to read subtitles. Like I'm trying to do stuff and then like
Right.
also listen to it, like watch it, and I'm like, I can't, I missed it. Um,
Yeah,
but I
you
do
got to
love
you got to concentrate
yeah,
on that screen a little bit. Yeah.
exactly. But I have turned off English subtitles or English dubs because it was so bad. And I just ended up watching it and reading it. A lot of things on Netflix are still, a lot of the Netflix anime are learning. I think
Mm.
they probably could use hire on some of the, more popular guests to kind of like reach that level of, so you don't realize that it's being dubbed. It just is, seamless.
Right. That's the way it should be, right? You shouldn't have to like listen to it and say, "Wow, that sounds so different than what I'm seeing on that screen."
Right, exactly. So, and it'll get there. Like I said, we've gotten there. There's lots of people who do it very well. But
Yeah.
I have also had the same issue where I would watch or play something in Japanese and
Hmm.
hearing and meeting the American voice actor. I'm like, oh yeah, I hear it now. Like you have to hear them talk. So,
Yes.
but overall, you look back at their like discography, I guess you'd call it, or what they've done, and
Mm.
it's so fun to be able to pinpoint, like, wow, I have heard this voice because maybe they don't just do
Yes.
Japanese dubs; they've also done a cartoon character or a radio show, or they've done another item sometime in that realm. So.
Yeah.
It's really fun to like meet them in person too.
And it's funny because a lot of these voice actors, especially if they're big into the voice acting, as opposed to they do it just sometimes, they might have done like 60 of them, 60 different characters or 20 different characters. And then, so it's not just one thing. So,
Right. Kimberly Brooks, who's the voice of Princess Allura, she also is the voice
mm,
of Jasper from Steven Universe. But I met her last year, late last year, and she's like every voice I've ever loved from every like cartoon, like any black girl voice or any like a lot of people recognize Cree Summers. And then I'm like, but everything else is usually Kimberly Brooks. And I was like, wow,
really?
like my
Okay.
whole life I've been listening to you and now I've met you in person. So it just makes it like it's that much more special because you're like, oh yeah, that obscure character that I thought only I knew. And then you're like, yep, that was me.
Doesn't that feel a little disjointed when you see the actual person and then you hear the voice? It's like, wait a second, where's that character I want to see?
I know,
But
right? I know it's on tip of my tongue, and then they say it, and you're like, oh, okay. But
yeah,
and it's just like great because you see them as like real people too,
yeah,
and they're there to enjoy the convention just like everybody else,
sure.
and especially with if you have a media pass, so like you've got a cool little extra because they do interviews with the press, and you just get these great stories that you may never hear any other place,
Right.
or just get a time to like even like think like Maurice LaMarche and well, the voices of Pinky and the Brain were there last year, and like they're just amazing people, and people are just like trying to maintain their inner fanboy and inner fangirl, but they're getting great information from them and being able to distribute this to, their following, just like you can. So,
Sure. Everyone has a social media following they want to share with. So yeah, I get that. Uh,
yeah.
there's also your one of the other things that you guys are doing are exhibiting vehicles too, right? Some replica car shows. So what can they look forward to there? As
So
visitors.
the exhibitor hall is just eye candy for any sort of level of nerd. I know in previous years they've had Mystery Machine, they've had the Batmobile, they
Mm,
have these really amazingly detailed anime cars. I know there's a word for it, but I can't think about it. But
right.
have like these beautiful skins on them. They have just amazing. They have the Ghostbusters mobile. I'm pretty sure is going to be one of the ones that's there.
Okay.
Just these great opportunities to take pictures in front of these pieces of art that are able to be mobile and just hit that nostalgia to a lot of different levels of nerds. So that's going to be on the exhibitor floor. There will be tons of nostalgia and new age art and merchandise that's available as well from the vendors who are going to be there. I'm pretty sure that's also where the autograph lines are. And then the artist alley, which is, again, you can see and purchase art that you may have only seen on Instagram or DeviantArt or Tumblr, and those artists are there and very welcoming and very appreciative to even meet their fans because they're also fans as well. That's why they make this art. So,
Sure.
yeah, there's just so many opportunities for just like art on all different levels on the exhibitor floor.
And to hit a little bit of the cosplay, a little bit of that. I'm sure there's panels about how to create cosplay outfits and replicate weapons and all that, right?
They have body painting panels, armor building and molding. Again, branding your cosplay page, social media marketing. Doing different marketing for it. Very accepting how to be body positive about your costume and ways to help promote that and different discussions about being very body positive in the cosplay
Sure.
community, which I think is very important right now. The intro to do it, how to put on a kimono, like almost
Right.
like every year they always kind of surprise me with the different amount of programming because it's people who are locally doing this
Hmm.
who make it their passion who want to share with others. So again, that programming schedule is super long, but you can kind of, if you go to there's going to be an app that's going to be ready soon, and they will organize all of it by that too.
Oh wow,
Um,
good. Yeah.
Trying to do it with Facebook is kind of daunting, but on their website you can also look through it by day and by category of those items. And cosplay is like a specific different one. And they also have cosplay guests like local and from that come in from longer distances, but Atlanta's got some of the best cosplayers, like I think, in the country. We're always doing Atlanta cons. They go to San Diego Comic Con. They
Yeah.
travel all over, and they live right here in Georgia. So it's or right here in the South even. So very representative of some of the great talent that's here.
For sure. I follow a young lady called Just Laurel, Laurel
Yeah,
Sprague. Do you know Laurel?
I do.
She's
She's amazing. Oh yeah, she is. She's a guest this year. I think she told me she was. She's
uh,
definitely going to be there.
yeah, that's what I hear, and she's actually going to be. She's looking for she's soliciting photographers, good photographers that want to take pictures. She has great outfits that she
Yeah,
does.
definitely get there. So yeah, she's awesome. She does her Black Canary is great.
Yes, absolutely, and she'll get she'll get 3,000 likes. So, yeah, if people are into doing cosplay and stuff, I mean, this is a great place for it, and great place to be seen and to watch. Great people
Right.
place to watch. Great hero. I mean, everyone's into an anime watcher, a cosplay watcher. There's otaku, I guess, type of people. That want to. Is there sushi there as well? Probably, right? There's food concessions.
There is some food on site. I'm not exactly sure where it is on the exhibitor hall,
Right,
but I'm trying to think if there's CNN Center, which has tons of food options. I
right,
don't
sure.
recall the last time I saw a sushi one there. And they also
I'm
sometimes have food
surprised.
trucks through. So it
Oh, really?
depends on,
Okay.
yeah, some of that I never even know until the weekend, the weekend has started, and I'm like, I am hungry. What can I eat? And I found a great food truck one year that made like epic grilled cheese sandwiches.
Oh, my favorite.
So hopefully, like with meat on it, like it was so good.
Oh wow,
So
gotta try that. With
yeah,
the
so I'm excited even to see that's going to be a surprise to me too.
Yeah, and there's all sorts of stuff. People don't even like photo shoots, dances, gaming events. You mentioned some gaming events, so not just gaming like PS4 or something, but gaming like board gaming,
Yeah,
tabletop
uh,
gaming.
console, console LAN games. You can connect.
Hmm.
They actually have a space this year where you can get on a schedule to Twitch stream. So you can log into your Twitch account and you can stream a video game
Oh, really?
using, the Momo's Wi-Fi specifically for that. I know there's a list for that, and that's available in the gaming hall. The
Okay.
tournaments are there, cash tournaments as well as casual play tournaments.
Hmm.
People start games like Werewolf or Dominion. They plan like all those things as separate events, and then also people just start. They sit down at a table and they want to learn to play.
Yeah.
And they've got teachers there who can teach you how to play some of these things like, Love Letter or these larger games. D&D, people would just start campaigns. And now this year, since the gaming hall is 24 hours, you could campaign all weekend.
No
And,
way. 24-hour gaming.
I mean, yeah,
That's a
yeah,
nerd heaven, geek heaven right there.
it is. It's just, 4 in the morning, you're like, you know what? I need to flip a table. And then you just go and play the flip a table game. And,
Uh,
it's therapeutic and it's great. So,
so,
yeah.
and you mentioned the cash prizes. How big are the cash prizes? Are these like PS4 type games and Xbox and
I know that they
PC?
have Smash. They have Smash. They have a Dragon Ball Z Fighter, Tekken, Blaze Blue, and we're talking like thousands of dollars, like across multiple different games. Like
Hmm.
they're pretty big prizes, and they're pretty intense bracket style tournaments that are being run by you know like pros. So
Okay.
that's definitely worth checking out if someone feels like they are the prince or princess of games. They may want to invest in that. And you can actually sign up for those tournaments on MomoCon site in the same place where you register
Okay.
um, for your pass. The Indie Game Awards is also super cool. I really dived deep in looking into that this year because it. I've always known that it brings indie developers in front of judges from game journalists and other like top developer teams, and they rate these 20 finalists for their video game,
Uh,
and they
huh?
to win a prize, and they get to win. I think there's top three, and they win like a booth for next year. They
Hmm.
get representation, of course, and great advertising. And these games are like games you find on Steam. They're independent
Really?
games, independent
Okay.
creators. Some of them have, very basic art, but very deep puzzle building,
Right.
or just, really amazing art and visuals. And they're, just simple like shoot 'em up games, but they all have, made it this far, and they're going to get judged by some of like, again, the top game professionals during MomoCon. So, and then you can go to
Wow.
the award ceremony to see them get who is the actual winner. So tons of people love seeing that because it also gives access to these developers games that many people in the public haven't even played yet. So it's a
Right.
pretty
That's neat. That's I could see that. I've played on Steam. I played Subnautica with my son, and so some things could be really deep world and stuff, right? But some of it's I could see, if you have a great story though. That's the thing. I think sometimes if there's a great story and a great understanding of how that game plays, the rest of the
Mhm.
production value can come into it later. I guess when they're recognized, right?
Yeah.
So.
Hmm.
We've been talking with Renee Cooper. She's media director with MomoCon.com. MomoCon, the convention. It's an all-age geek weekend that's in May, almost the last weekend of May 24th through the 27th. Yep.
Hmm.
And at the World Congress Center.
Yep.
And animation, comics, manga, gaming. You can register now until May 9th for the discounted rate of $60 for the weekend.
Correct. And then
And
it'll be $75 at the door, or you can purchase day of passes for like Friday, Saturday only, things like that.
all right, cool. So, any suggestions you might make for, let's say, families going? Any suggestions you want to give them or tips?
Hmm. I would say that you're going to have a great time. There is parking that's available at multiple decks around the convention, but the MARTA also picks up and drops off right underneath the CNN Center. So if you're looking to avoid traffic, that may be a great place, especially if you're arriving in a group. You can walk right over to CNN Center. Or to Georgia World Congress Center. It's again surrounded by super tourist areas like the aquarium, the Centennial Park, even World of Coke, which we're not doing anything with this year, but if anyone's ever wanted to go there, it's great. You're already right there. Right. Dress the kids up, dress up yourself, go and enjoy any of the panels that are there, play some games with them. Again, there's the CNN Center is a great place that you can grab lunch, you can stay on site, just for a whole day and make a great day out of it. Take pictures with cosplayers. Oh my goodness, it's like being at Disneyland or Universal or any of the places that, a whole family could go to, and you have tons more fun characters to interact with, and they're real people, so you can have real conversations about nerddom with them as well.
Right.
There's workshops.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Oh, there's workshops for if kids want to build things or want to learn to sew or want to learn, what a bento box is. You don't have to worry too much. The all ages means that you're not having to worry too much about going into anything that's 18 and over programming. It's all going to be at least at the most rated T, and they'll actually put a little diamond by the title of the program item in the book and on the app if there's going to be like maybe possibility for language or something like that. But the moderators are great at keeping it all in check. Get your pedometers out because there's going to be a lot of walking and a lot of steps you could take. And just make, if you can't make a whole weekend of it, try to make a day of it. Friday, Saturday are huge days. They're all great days, but Friday and Saturday are the major big days. There's tons of very informative information people and volunteers there as well who can help with any questions on site.
Okay, real quick, any etiquette when taking pictures with cosplayers that people should be aware of? Do you ask permission?
It is good etiquette to ask permission first. May I take a photo with you? Most of the time, if they're up and active and have already been posing, they may be good to go. If they decline because they may be on their way to the bathroom or to get food, or they're sitting down and look like they're relaxing, then, politely say thank you, and you may be able to catch them at a different time. They may also be on their way to a panel or any sort of programming. And almost guaranteed, there's some great cosplays that are like one-off, but almost guaranteed you'll probably find someone else to take that picture. Ask where their panel is and go support them at their panel or their booth or wherever they are, and you can see if that's an option as well. But and then always just be very careful about body contact with anybody. Never just assume that it's okay. They say cosplay is not consent, so even if it's like an arm around the shoulder, around the waist, or anything like that, just always ask first if you're trying to pose with characters, and just be nice and courteous. Understand that they are people too. They have needs too. It may be really warm, or they maybe got to get away, but most people there are super great about taking pictures. And on the offside, if anyone, MomoCon has such a great security team, such a great on-site team of volunteers that it's always open to bringing up any sort of questions that you have with them too.
All right, cool. This has been, I really enjoyed this. Found out a lot about MomoCon that I didn't know.
Great.
And this is good. I can't wait to come out there that weekend to do some coverage and some interviews. Hopefully I have some kids with me, my kids with me. It would be nice. And I'm sure they will, because this sounds awesome. And there's so many aspects to this I didn't know before that I can share with them now. So Renee, thank you, and I appreciate that. And for those that this is going to be appearing as a Facebook video that I'm going to be posting online, and there'll be an audio portion to this that'll be as an audio podcast that you may find this on iTunes, on iHeartRadio, and Stitcher, and Spreaker, or my website. So feel free to visit and like us and share this with other families that may have an interest with MomoCon. Thank you, Renee. Appreciate you doing this with us.
Thank you so much. I had a great time. I can't wait to see you.
Same here. Hang in there for 1 second.